So, ending off chapter 11, we're speaking about divine emotions, just as in the human being. Emotions can express themselves in many different ways. So likewise in the divine realm of things, not likewise, actually that's where it begins, and because it's that way above, well, that's the way it is within us. Actually, that's not the way it is above, but that's the way we perceive it at least. So divine emotions, kindness, just think about it for a second. Kindness in us can be expressed in so many different ways. You could say to the person, you, I love. You could express it by, great job, really thankful for what you just did, really appreciate, express some kind of kindness and love there. Or it can be through an action of giving a gift, whatever the case may be, right? Point is, it can be expressed in so many different ways. So likewise, God's kindness is expressed in so many different ways. How? Through his word, the utterance of God, which an utterance has the vocalization of letters that make up a word and has the breath to it. Those two things together is what gives realization to the kindness that is enclosed in it, together with the divine will and wisdom that is propelling it and clothed in it, and gives then an existence to light, to water, that are an expression of kindness. As opposed to another emotion like gvura, power, which there the firmament is an expression of gvura, of power, in the sense that it's a divider. It refrains. It makes a division between the spiritual worlds and the physical world, the higher spiritual realm and this world. That's the emotion of gvura, as we explained to great length in the previous class. So now, let's understand how that reflects in the creation of you and I, who have intelligence. And our intelligence is a product of breath and letters of words. Let us make man. Parenthetically, the Alter Rebbe doesn't deal with this here, but why is it in the plural? Let us make man. Some people want to suggest that from there you see that there's in the divine realm of things there's plurality, which of course is not true. But it's as Torah, it's part of Torah, and Torah is teaching us a lesson that as great as you are, you take consultation in others. God, as great as he is, he takes consultation in the angels above when it comes to making man. That's Rashi's explanations, many other explanations of that, but that's not the point over here. The point over here is that those words, that breath that got breathed into the nostrils of Adam to create him, and the words, let us make man, that breath and words is what makes us what we are, and people of intelligence and whatnot. And it's those letters. So when we speak about letters, usually think about letters are, letters are not as powerful as intelligence. Yeah, but they're God's letters, and there's his breath that are bound up in one with him. So it's not letters vis-a-vis me and you in the sense that, relative to us. No. Divine letters and breath of God. But the term letters is vis-a-vis the divine emotion. In other words, in emotions, there is no language. It's beyond language. And that's why if you don't express in a specific language, as great as the emotion is, nothing's realized. So the same thing is with divine emotion. Nothing would be realized in the creation of a world if it was just in the realm of divine emotion. So it needs to be actualized. I mean, the truth is, that's from our perspective, only from our perspective, but it needs to be actualized through speech. And in speech, Alter Rebbe says there's specifically only 22 letters. 22 letters. And why the 22 letters? Because each letter has a unique form, has a unique numerical value, has a unique meaning to it, a content to it. Just briefly to go through this idea. Just to give you an idea of how powerful this thought is. The letter Aleph you see here before, those who are on video. See the letter Aleph. It's actually made up of three different things over here. First of all, the letter Aleph is is a numeric value of 1. The word Aleph means aluf, means general, the head, the one head, the one general of the world, God, right, commander-in-chief. And it's made up of 3 different components. There's a part on top, there's a line in between that connects above and below. And each of these are like a yud. They're letter yud. The way you would almost write a letter yud, pretty close to it. So you have a yud and a yud, and here's a vav. So yud is numeric value of 10. So you have 10 and 10, and then vav is 6. That's 26. That's the numeric value of God's name, the Tetragrammaton, Shem Havaya. Yud and a Hey and a vav and a Hey is 26. So you got God's name there in that respect. What does Yud represent? It's 10. 10 divine attributes. 10 divine attributes of God. Now, you have it, the Yud over here reflected the opposite way, because now we're the reflection down here. The soul is the reflection down here. That it also has Yud, 10 powers of the soul. And right. And then the Vav is number 6, also refers to, Vav is a connection. You see, it's connecting the top and the bottom part of the Yuds. It's connector. The word Vav means and. So the Vav before a word makes it a conjunction, makes it and, right? Ve'ahavta, and you shall love, right? The Vav is connection of the word and. Plus the word Vav means a hook, because what does it do? It hooks one word with another word. It's a connector. And how's it connecting? Up, down. The letter has to be written up, down. If you write it down, up, it's not kosher. You know why? Because the connection is from up, down. It's from the Yud above, from God above, right? The 10 powers of the soul of God, to, 10 attributes of God, to the 10 powers of the soul. So it's from up, down, not down, up. That's not how you connect to God. Connect on His terms, from Him, right? So all of this Aleph, you see the shape of it is specific. An Aleph can't be a base, and a base can't be an Aleph, because they mean separate things. Their shape is a separate idea. This is the idea of ultimately God above connecting with us down here below. That's the ultimate purpose, is that connection. Interesting. Very powerful. That's just one letter. Well, maybe let's take another letter. Second letter. I can find a... Well, I'll have to write it out. Here it is. It's a letter base, or veit, however you pronounce. What does it look like? You know what it looks like? Like a home. Well, that's what actually the word beit means. Bayit means a home. And that's what the shape is a home. Right? It's open with one opening over here, a door, it's opening. It's got a foundation below. And here's got the roof above, wall, and the opening over here. Well, the ultimate is that we are connected from above to below to God, and the letter Aleph and its shape and its meaning and its word that it's reference to God, that that it's all about a connection with God. And how do we do that? Well, by connecting God to home, this world, to make a home for God in this world. Wow. So again, and that's the numeric value of 2, because where are you making a home for God? In this world, which is, by its nature, the way God created it, is plurality. In the plurality, you have to find the oneness. And that's why the beit is numeric value 2. To find the oneness of God in this world, in a world that we need to make a home. Why do we need to make a home for him? Because he's not at home. Because there's plurality over here. There's otherness besides him. And ultimately, that's where we come to do that. Can go on. Just briefly, just to give you the idea. Last 2 letters, just briefly. Gimel, Daled. Gimel is, look at, what does it look like? Looks like a stick figure of a person moving forward. Well, that's what Gimel means, Gomel, to do. How are you making a home for God? Get up on top of the Tibet mountain and gaze to the heavens above. No. Gomel, Gimel, do. Do. Take a step forward. Move forward in this physical world to make a home for God. How are you going to make a home for God? By doing. And the number 3, then by doing, what you're doing is then bringing concept of peace, which is 2 opposites, plurality, and then you create peace by the 3rd element, by actually doing something. What are you going to do? Well, lots of things to do. Daled, which is Dallas, poor. Help the poor. You see this poor guy? That's his front, that's his back. He's got the back to you. Gomel, go towards him. Take a step forward to him to bring him closer. Because he's poor. Poor doesn't mean just physically poor. It could be mentally poor too. It could be educationally poor. Poor in Torah and mitzvahs. Reach out to that person. Bring them. That's a brief idea. Every letter has a meaning. Every letter has a significance. The shape of it, the meaning of it. It's not arbitrary like every other language in the world. And hence, becomes the vital force, the letters, the breath of the letter that is verbalized. The numeric value, the shape, the meaning of the letter, all of that becomes the divine life force that expresses the divine emotion. That letter, and that is letter vis-a-vis the divine, the divine emotion that it is expressing, is bound up in one with God. Which is the vital force of everything here. Any questions, any comments? Let us see first on Facebook. Okay, Yana, give me a moment. moment. We're going to check on Facebook. Davida, I don't see anybody. If you see something I don't see, you know something I don't know. Usually it's the case. Please let me know. Put 2 questions before. Two question marks before so I know it's a question. Yeah, I don't see anything. Oh my gosh. Eliana, please share with us.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Can you explain the significance since, the letters are, the breath? Can you explain the significance of the aleph being silent?
It's before God, what are you but silent, right? Since it's represents God and represents our connection to God, of our divine soul, how it's a reflection of Him, and we have a part of Him in us, and He connects us to Him and allows us so we could have this deep connection to Him, to His core essence. Is there any way, anyhow, that we could express anything but, sort of, in other words, it's beyond expression, in a sense, right?
Right, thank you.
Thank you. Excellent question. Anybody else? 1 second. Powerful. Okay. Where does numerology come from? Michael asks. It's Kabbalistic teachings. Comes from Kabbalah. But it's part of Jewish teachings. Dan asks, its plurality, sitter acher. Sitter. So, yes, the nature of this world is the plurality is the other side, sitter acher. Right? And exactly, that's why we need to make a home for God in this physical world. That is, God is hidden to such a degree that we can sense our own significance outside of God. We can our own dependence outside of God, and that is sitter acher, the other side, negative side, exactly. Very good, Dan. Thank you. Michael, Dan. Okay. Anybody else? So Michael, we got. Dan, we got. I don't see any other questions. Am I missing something? If there is, please. I know now. Who could share it? I know now. Bonnie, when we are silent before Him, we are creating a home for Hashem within us, ourselves. Well, when we need to be silent. Not always we need to be silent. We should be silent. At times we need to be silent. Sometimes we need to talk. Sometimes we need to do. The idea of this world is doing, as we explained. Gimel is goimel, to do, like the milas chasadim, the acts of loving kindness. Eugenia says, I know now the 22 Hebrew letters of the divine language through which God expresses divine emotion and infuses vitality into physical creation. Very good. But not only infuses physical vitality, brings into existence all of creation and infuses it with its unique vitality. Yes, excellent. Very well said. John, the 22 letters of divine letters are distinct channels of energy flow from which all creations were made and are sustained, so that everything in the universe is only 1 or 2 steps away from unified non-composite source of energy, of divine energy. Yes, very good. Okay. Any other questions? Any other comments? We have from Vilma, Batya, Michelle, Josh, Tim, Andrew, Jeff, Lindsay, Brian, Shalom. Or let's see, on Instagram, I don't see any questions here. Clarity, look at that. All right. Oh, okay. Oh, Shalom. I think you wanted to ask something. Go ahead.
I just had a question about this breathe. In Hebrew, is it the nashama or another word?
Well, I wasn't clear on the question. Repeat it, please.
The word, the breathe, is it nashama?
You mean bris?
The nashama.
Nishama means soul. Nishama means soul.
Soul. It's not the breathe.
Oh, the breath. Oh, okay, got it now. Yes, it is. The soul was breathed into Adam through his nostrils. God blew from, figuratively speaking, from inside of him into the nostrils of Adam and blew into him nishama. So nishima means breath. Nishama means soul. Right, and that's why.
I'm Moroccan. I speak more, a little bit more near to the Arabic word because it's the same word in Arabic.
Okay.
That's why it came.
Right.
Yeah.
Very good. Very good. Of course, there's going to be a closeness in the language. So so that's why also, the last breath is. When the soul leaves is based on breath, based on breathing, and because that's how the soul came in.
And the same was God put in Adam also. He breathed it in
Exactly. Yes, exactly. Thank you.
So we are carrying in us this godly breathing.
Yes, right. Which is a metaphor to understand that we come from the internal aspect. This is chapter 2 of the first part of Tanya that the Alter Rebbe goes to great length and to explain. And actually, we'll also go into the next part of Tanya in the third book. We'll soon be discussing that. But yes, absolutely true. Thank you for sharing that. Michelle.
Hi, Rabbi. Hi, everyone. So God breathed into Adam. So he breathed the soul to Adam. So therefore, we have a little bit of God inside us.
Exactly.
What I believe.
Yes.
So when people are on their knees, looking up to the sky, praying to God, we really should be looking within ourselves. So there's a relation between meditation and praying, because with meditation, you look within and you're still. Am I correct in saying this, Rabbi?
So Jewish meditation is, first of all, very different than other forms or Eastern forms of meditation. Those forms are about clearing your mind, and Jewish meditation is about actually filling your mind with an appreciation, understanding, and awareness of God, rather than clearing your mind. So you're filling your mind with that awareness. So how that awareness is coming is can be by understanding the way your soul works within your body. That's the way God works within the world on some level, at least in some level, right? As we're explaining now with the attributes of God, and we have powers of the soul, right? As we explain with the letter Aleph, the 10 powers of the soul, they're a reflection of the 10 divine attributes. So there is an aspect of looking in yourself to be able to appreciate and understand. And then there is looking above, looking beyond yourself, to understand beyond the way we appreciate and understand ourselves, but within the world beyond us, the heavens above, and so on. So when it comes to Jewish meditation, I don't think there's necessarily a manner in where you put your concentration specifically. Is it within or beyond? I think it could be both, because again, the idea is not to clear your mind, but is to fill your mind. So are you filling your mind with that which is beyond, or that which is from within?
But surely we need to clear our mind from chaos
and
confusion
yes.
in order to receive God's miracles, Rabbi.
Yeah, right. So yes, for sure we need to clear our minds of chaos. That's for sure. I agree. But sometimes how you clear your mind from chaos is by putting something positive in your mind. Think about it for a moment. When you have a negative thought that comes into your mind, so yes, push it away. But if you don't replace it with something positive, then the negative will seep in. So, how do you get rid of the chaos? Well, if you study Tanya and you think about the Tanya, and that's why, by the way, the Tanya journaling, I bring it up again, is going to help tremendously, because it will give us the opportunity to fill our minds with the thoughts, the teachings of the day, that we can really live with it and, be very significant. I like through a niggin, like Davidis says. Yes, a niggin truly helps. Does that resonate, Michelle?
Yes, Rabbi, thank you.
You're very welcome. Okay, I missed some people over here. Give me a moment. Who did I miss? Didn't the Maharal of Prague, Aryeh asks, makes the golem also the four elements of yes? He was using Kabbalistic, ideas of air, fire, earth, and water, because everything is made up of that. And absolutely, yes. Okay. So that was Aryeh. Diane has a question. Where is Diane's question? Does each letter have 10 divine attributes? No. Does it have 10? No. It's a result of the 10 attributes, or the emotional attributes, the 7, the letters. But, they are, just remember it by us, right? We think in language and speak in language that emerges from what we feel. What we feel about, and the more strongly we feel about something, is the more we'll speak about or think about that thing, right? So that is the relationship. I hope that's clear, Diane. Okay, any other questions? Any other thoughts?
I have a question.
Go ahead, Vilma.
Do emotions arise from a specific place? Like, would you say they come from thoughts, or do they come from their own place?
Well, emotions actually are come from our perspective, from our intelligence. From the intelligence of the mind, it feeds the heart, right? In other words, if I perceive the cup half full, that will feed my heart to feel positive. If I perceive the cup half empty, that will feed my heart to have a sadness or something negative as a result. And then from that feeling, if that feeling is very strong, based on the perspective being very strong, let's say, then that will then bring me, because in feelings there's no language, it's beyond language, it will then lead me to think in language, right, about that which I have strong feelings towards. So that's the where it goes, and then of course from there I'll speak and act upon it as a result. Is that clear?
Is it all conscious, and is it all coming from within us? Like, is it possible that it's coming from another place, other people, or unconsciously?
Well, it can't come from someone else if it doesn't enter me. Has to enter me. Has to enter my consciousness. Maybe in subconscious, it doesn't have to be unconsciously, you're right, in that respect, correct. It doesn't have to be that I'm consciously aware. It could be subconsciously aware, and then that creates an emotion. And that's why we have to be careful of the things that we view, because there is a subconscious effect that it has on us. And from that subconscious effect, it affects the emotions, and then it will come to make us think about what we think. So absolutely, that's why even when a child is born, we create a world around them with holy books like the Tanya, a Siddur, a Chumash. We put all those things in the baby's crib. They can't read the book. They don't even know it's a holy book. They see. And what do they see? A Tanya, a picture of the Alter Rebbe, holy letters of the Hebrew alphabet. That has a subconscious, not a conscious effect, but has a subconscious effect. That subconscious meaning that the subconscious mind soaks it in. It will affect on a very subconscious, emotional level of the individual. That will affect them, that they will think and speak based on that differently as a result. So yes, it's absolutely correct that it is not merely on a conscious level, but also on a subconscious level. Is that clear?
Very clear. Thank you, Rabbi.
You're very welcome. Susanna, what do we know about the origin of the supernal letters? They originate from God. That's what we know. They originate from God, and that's how He communicated to us. How? In the Torah. In the Torah, that's how He communicated it to us. So that's how we have it. Okay. I think I got everybody. Davida, please, do I? Yes. Jane. Jane. Okay. Are the 10 attributes the very image of God when man was created, as it is in the scripture, and man created in the image of God? Is it the very image of God? It's a part of God. Is it the image of God? That's a good question. It's on some level it's the image of God. On a deeper level, it's a part of God as opposed to the image of God. That's actually a good question. I need to think more. I have to do a little more research on that. Image means there's a it seemingly it has to do with that too, of the 10 divine attributes. Yes, but because it also has to do with being a part of God as opposed to the image of God, which means a deeper place. But I need to look more into that because don't have clarity on that. A very good question. Thank you. Anything else? All right. So tomorrow we begin the final chapter. 2 more days left of this book. Then we start. A reminder. That Tanya Journal. I would strongly suggest, if you are interested, that you should sign up ASAP, because they should be going out now, and you'll be getting them just in time, God willing, when we start. I'm very excited that we'll be able to take this a notch higher, actually much more than a notch higher, many notches, and it's really all based on you. As much as you want. So it's not like you have an obligation in any way if you get this booklet. No obligations. Okay. Yeah, 2 colors over here, Rav. That's right. Which one do you like? Okay, folks, I'm Rabbi Ronnie Fine coming to you from Chabad Zichron Kadeshim in Montreal, Canada. It's a privilege and a pleasure to share with you the Tanya. Have a wonderful day. Thank you.
Thank you, Rabbi.
Thank you. God bless you all.